I thought, with Sue Bird coming in, at least this is someone that has been positive on Caitlyn at times.
Sue Bird apologizes after Caitlin Clark quits Team USA over bench drama. Caitlin Clark, without a doubt, the most influential player in women's basketball today, has suddenly become the center of a controversy that could shake the sport to its core. At the heart of the drama is something as seemingly simple as a jersey number, her number 22. A number she's worn since childhood, a number fans associate with her record-breaking career, a number that has become inseparable from her identity. Yet Team USA, the organization she has represented with pride, reportedly attempted to strip her of it, insisting she switch to number 17. The result? A standoff that has left both fans and insiders stunned. It's hard to overstate Caitlyn's cultural impact. She is more than a player. She's a global icon, the kind of athlete whose name alone brings millions of eyes to women's basketball. And now, with Team USA's decision, that influence has collided headfirst with bureaucracy. Sources say Caitlyn drew a hard line. No number 22, no training camp. Period. Behind the scenes, Sue Bird, the legendary voice of reason in the sport, finds herself scrambling to manage an entirely avoidable crisis. Her role as Team USA's managing director has turned into a high-stakes balancing act, trying to navigate loyalty, legacy, and public perception, all while containing the fallout of a decision that many consider baffling. This isn't just a minor administrative error. This is a textbook example of organizational miscalculation, one that exposes the tensions between tradition, authority, and the power of a player whose influence has outgrown any established hierarchy. Caitlin Clark isn't just asking for respect. She is demanding recognition for the decades of dedication, excellence, and record-shattering performances that have made her the face of women's basketball. The irony is stark. A simple number, available and unused, has turned into a symbol of control, and the consequences of this decision are rippling far beyond the confines. The more you peel back the layers of this controversy, the more staggering it becomes. Team USA didn't face a dilemma where two players wanted the same number. There was no conflict, no scheduling snafu, no unseen rule demanding Caitlyn change her jersey. Number 22 was completely available, waiting for its rightful owner. And yet, they chose to enforce a switch, creating a problem out of thin air. What should have been a non-issue instantly morphed into a high-profile standoff, one that has left fans, media, and insiders questioning the judgment of an organization that claims to lead women's basketball with a... It's tempting to chalk this up to bureaucratic oversight or a miscommunication. But every detail we've seen so far paints a picture that feels disturbingly deliberate. This was a power move, a subtle assertion that no matter how far Caitlyn has risen, the institution still sets the... And make no mistake, Caitlyn understood exactly what was happening. Her response was decisive, clear, and uncompromising. If I can't wear 22, I'm not showing up. This isn't defiance for its own sake. It's a statement about respect, recognition, and the fundamental principle that the player who has carried an entire sport on her shoulders should not be forced to compromise her identity for the sake of... Sue Bird, caught in the middle, is reportedly in full crisis mode. Her decades of experience and unshakable presence as a player and executive suddenly aren't enough to prevent this from spiraling into a public relations nightmare. She has to navigate a delicate web of obligations to the sport, to Team USA, to the players, and to the public watching every move. And yet, no amount of strategy can erase the reality that Caitlyn now holds all the leverage. She doesn't need Team USA as much as Team USA needs every television rating, every spike in fan engagement, every sponsorship opportunity. The organization's cultural and financial relevance is tied to her participation. And if she walks away, the consequences could be seismic. But beyond the immediate drama, this controversy exposes a far deeper issue: the systemic undervaluation of women's sports. For decades, female athletes have fought for recognition, respect, and fairness in an arena where their contributions were often minimized or overlooked. Caitlyn's number 22 isn't just a digit, it's a symbol of that struggle. By attempting to strip her of it, Team USA has inadvertently highlighted the ongoing battle for equity, visibility, and respect in professional sports. Fans and insiders alike aren't just watching a jersey dispute. They're witnessing the intersection of power, legacy, and identity collide in the most publicness. To understand the weight of this controversy, you have to step back and consider the symbolic power of numbers in sports. Think of Michael Jordan in 23, Wayne Gretzky in 99, Kobe Bryant in 24. These numbers weren't just numbers. They were extensions of the athletes themselves, intertwined with their legacy, their identity, and their global recognition. Caitlin Clark's number 22 belongs to that same rare category. It's a symbol of dominance, dedication, and inspiration. From her record-shattering collegiate career to the massive wave of attention she's brought to women's basketball, 22 is more than a digit. It's a brand, a legacy, a global icon. Team USA's insistence on changing that number isn't a trivial decision. It's an affront to everything Caitlin has built, and the response has been swift and decisive. Caitlin isn't just defending a number. She's defending her identity, her personal brand, and the message that she will not be sidelined or diminished by bureaucracy. In today's sports world, athletes wield more power than ever before. Social media, endorsements, and fan engagement have shifted the balance. No longer are superstars entirely beholden to organizations. Caitlin's stance is a clear demonstration of that shift. A bold declaration that respect cannot be optional and legacy cannot be dictated by someone else's. And yet, the timing and context make this story even more shocking. Just recently, Caitlin faced a snub from the Olympic roster despite being the most marketable and recognizable name in the sport. Combine that with a number 22 dispute, and it paints a picture of an organization struggling or refusing to adapt to a new reality where players wield unprecedented. Fans are connecting the dots, and the narrative is clear. Caitlin Clark has become too big to ignore, and some in leadership may feel uncomfortable with the power she now holds. Sue Bird's role cannot be overstated. As Team USA's managing director, she is tasked with shepherding talent, maintaining relationships, and safeguarding the reputation of the program. Yet she's caught in the eye of this storm, trying to salvage a situation that spiraled out of control before the training camp even began. Every attempt to manage the fallout is complicated by the simple fact that Caitlin holds all the leverage. The organization needs her far more than she needs them. This dynamic isn't hypothetical. It's real, visible, and already reshaping how fans, media, and even other athletes view the balance of power in professional women. The moment news broke that Caitlin Clark was being forced to change her number, the reaction was immediate and intense. Social media exploded with thousands of fans expressing outrage, disbelief, and support for the superstar. Hashtags trended worldwide, forums buzzed with heated debates, and sports analysts scrambled to comment on a controversy that, on the surface, seemed minor, but in reality, was anything but. Fans understand that this isn't merely about a number. It's about respect, identity, and acknowledgement of achievement. They see Caitlin's stance as a fight against an outdated system that still struggles to properly value female athletes, even when those athletes are the backbone of the sport's growth. Media coverage has been relentless. Sports networks, podcasts, and online outlets dissected every detail, comparing Caitlin's situation to historic examples in men's sports where legends were never asked to compromise their identity. Every segment reinforces the perception that Team USA may have severely miscalculated. What was intended as a routine administrative decision has transformed into a full-blown crisis, with reputational stakes that could echo for years. Experts argue that this controversy is a microcosm of larger systemic issues, from organizational rigidity to the undervaluation of women in professional athletics. The narrative is no longer just about Caitlin Clark. It's about the power dynamics between athletes and institutions, about recognition and fairness in a world that often underestimates the influence of female sports icons. Fan reaction hasn't been limited to the online world. Commentators report that sponsors, partners, and stakeholders are watching closely. The magnitude of Caitlin's personal brand cannot be overstated. She single-handedly brings attention, revenue, and legitimacy to events she participates in, and forcing her to compromise on something so personal threatens to alienate millions of viewers. The potential fallout isn't just hypothetical. It could influence future sponsorship deals, broadcasting agreements, and even recruitment efforts in national program. Organizations that fail to respect their stars risk losing not just the individual, but the cultural relevance and financial viability that the athlete. What makes this standoff particularly compelling is the narrative of empowerment. Caitlin isn't just defending a jersey number. She is sending a powerful message to all athletes across all sports. She's asserting that no institution, no matter how prestigious, has the right to diminish her value or dictate terms that undermine her identity. The controversy has sparked discussions not only in the sports world, but across social and cultural commentary platforms, shining a spotlight on the evolving balance of power in professional athletics. Behind the scenes, Team USA is in full crisis. What appeared to outsiders as a simple administrative matter, a jersey number, has become a high-stakes drama threatening to upend the organization's credibility. Sources reveal that Sue Bird, the legendary former player and now Team USA managing director, is caught in the eye of this storm. Her decades of experience and impeccable reputation are suddenly being tested in a way that no amount of leadership training could fully prepare her for. She is tasked with walking a tightrope, keeping the organization intact while trying to repair relationships with a player whose influence dwarfs the authority institution itself. Sue's role is uniquely complicated. She's not only the public face of Team USA's leadership, but also someone who genuinely advocates for players' rights. She's deeply invested in growing the sport, mentoring young talent, and maintaining Team USA's global dominance. Yet, in this instance, she finds herself desperately trying to control a situation that spiraled far beyond her initial oversight. Every call she makes, every strategy she proposes, risks inflaming the situation further. The organization's decision to enforce a number change has placed her in a near impossible position. Any action she takes can be perceived as either favoritism, weakness, or a failure to maintain order. The stakes are astronomical. Caitlin Clark holds all the leverage, and the entire world is watching. Her decision, whether to walk away or compromise, will define the balance of power in women's sports for years to come. Meanwhile, Team USA faces not just reputational damage, but tangible consequences. Losing Caitlin would mean a significant blow to fan engagement, media attention, and sponsorship revenue. The organization's messaging, historically designed to emphasize unity, dominance, and prestige, now appears fragmented and reactive. Every press release, every interview, every internal meeting is a calculated risk in a situation that could escalate at any moment. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a cultural phenomenon. Every game, highlight, and endorsement elevates women's basketball, and her number 22 is a global identifier, inseparable from her legacy. Team USA's attempt to strip her of a challenge is not just a jersey, but her identity. By standing firm, Caitlin demonstrates the shifting power in sport. Athletes are now brands, leaders, and influence. Her stance sends a clear message. Respect and recognition are non-negotiable. Beyond the number, her influence reshapes fan engagement, media attention, and sponsorship opportunities, opening doors for rising stars while forcing organizations to acknowledge the leverage of their top talent. This controversy also exposes systemic issues in women's sports. Caitlin's refusal to compromise highlights decades of undervaluation and underrepresentation, inspiring fans, sponsors, and young athletes alike, showing that no hierarchy or tradition can dictate her work. Team USA now finds itself at a crossroads. The decision to force Caitlin Clark to change her number has exposed deep cracks in the organization's approach to leadership, communication, and respect for its players. Every misstep in handling this crisis magnifies the stakes. If Caitlin walks away, Team USA risks far more than just one player. It risks credibility, fan trust, sponsorships, and the momentum that women's basketball has worked so hard to build. Losing the face of the sport at a time when its global profile is rising would be a catastrophic blow, one that could take years to repair. The public perception is already shifting. Fans, media, and even casual observers see this as a power struggle where the institution attempted to assert control over someone who now holds all the leverage. Caitlin Clark doesn't need Team USA to define her career or her legacy. She has already achieved that, and then some. The organization, however, relies on her presence to maintain cultural relevance and legitimacy. That imbalance is glaring, and every move they make in the coming days will be scrutinized. Sue Bird, despite her experience and calm demeanor, is in an impossible position. She must manage not only the fallout but also the narrative, trying to reconcile the organization's authority with the undeniable reality of Caitlin's influence. For Caitlin, this isn't just about a jersey. It's about identity, legacy, and sending a message that resonates far beyond the court. By standing firm, she has set a precedent that athletes, especially women, are not powerless participants in systems that have historically undervalued them. Her stance has already inspired countless discussions about respect, representation, and empowerment in professional sports. Young athletes watching see a player who refuses to compromise her principles, demonstrating that integrity and success can coexist with courage and conviction. This standoff also highlights a broader truth. The landscape of professional sports is evolving. Athletes now wield influence that can shape organizations, challenge outdated practices, and redefine cultural norms. Caitlin Clark embodies that evolution. She is a force, a brand, and a symbol of the next generation of empowered athletes who refuse to be minimized. Whether Team USA ultimately reverses the decision or continues to stand firm, the lessons are clear: respecting players' identities, acknowledging their contributions, and valuing their influence are no longer optional. They are essential to the survival and relevance of any elite sports program. As this drama unfolds, one thing is certain: Caitlin Clark has the world watching, and she holds all the cards. Team USA must either recognize her power and adapt, or risk losing not just a player, but a cultural icon whose impact has already reshaped women's basketball forever. Fans, sponsors, and the global sports community await the next move in this high-stakes standoff, fully aware that the outcome will leave a lasting mark on the sport. In the end, this is more than a number. It's a fight for respect, legacy, and the acknowledgement that excellence demands recognition, no matter who wields the power.